What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Bill Mack here with another edition of Pro Wrestling Unleashed. Thanks for joining for tonight, folks. This is the Smackdown recap for August 22nd, 2017. And what a show we have for you tonight, folks. In case you missed it, I am here to give you the results and what happened. And we do have a couple of surprise returns tonight. One call-up and one surprise return. So let's just get right into the show. This is, of course, the first SmackDown since SummerSlam. We see AJ Styles come out to the ring to SmackDown, and he says that he's there to reinstate the U.S. title open. Challenge anyone that's willing to challenge him, he's going to open it up for him. So Kevin Owens' music comes out. AJ says, "No, I don't want you, Kevin Owens. I've done beat you. You don't deserve another shot." KO gets upset and he starts talking about how he was screwed at SummerSlam out of the title match. This prompts Shane to come out, and AJ ends up allowing Kevin Owens to get a rematch for the title and for Kevin to choose his own referee. So this is how SmackDown begins. We have Daniel Bryan in the back, and he's talking, and we see the Singh brothers come out with Jinder Mahal, the WWE champ, and Jinder thinks that he is requesting his attention. Instead, it's the Singh brothers, and he tells Singh brothers they're going to have a fight tonight against Kevin Owens. So it's going to be a 2-on-1 handicap match, which is much to the dismay of Jinder Mahal. We see Kevin Owens walking around in the back, and he walks on Sami Zayn, and he kind of gives him a rundown memory lane and says, even though I know we've been through a lot of good, a lot of bad, I still trust you. You're the only one I trust to call my match down the middle. Just think about it. So then we come to the ring, and it's pitch black, and Aiden English is in the middle of the ring. And, of course, he calls for his spotlight and for his microphone. And as he begins to sing, Glorious starts playing. Yes, it is indeed, folks. Surprise, surprise. Glorious himself. Bobby Roode is making his SmackDown debut. You know, great entrance. The fans were cheering for him, even when they were not saying Glorious. It was a great time. I was really glad to see Bobby Roode. I hadn't seen him since he left Impact Wrestling. So good to see Bobby Roode call up to the main roster. He deserves it. He had a decent match over with Aiden. Aiden got a little bit of offense in, but of course, you know, this being Bobby's debut, Bobby shows up. Bobby looks good. Bobby ends up hitting the glorious DDT on Aiden English to win the match, and he tells Renee in the ring that he's glad that Shane and Daniel Bryan opened up their pocketbooks because he is worth the investment, and that SmackDown was great. Now it's glorious. So great to see Bobby Roode making his roster SmackDown Live debut and call up to the main roster. Next up, we have another surprise. We have Daniel Bryan. He's in the back and he's talking to he's talking to Chad Gable about. He says, "I know you feel kind of bummed since your tag team partner left and went off the Raw, and you know," he said he wasn't worried too much about it. He says, "But I do have you another tag team partner." So Gable says, "Who?" And then we see Shelton Benjamin come back. And then Gable just acts like, "Oh my goodness, I followed your career. This is so great." So then he kind of gets really happy and hyper about it. And they go ahead and he leaves. And then Shelton shakes hands with Daniel Bryan. He says, "We'll see how this goes." So we see, but they won't fight this week. It'll be next week whenever they make their tag team debut together. So look forward to seeing that. And the way to explain it was that by Gable going over to Raw, that Kurt would help him sign one of his old buddies. So that's how he brought in Shelton Benjamin. So it'll be just interesting to see Shelton Benjamin back in action, since it had been quite a few years since he had been on WWE TV. We basically and I've kind of flip-flopped that back. That happened before the Kevin Owens thing with Sammy. So those two are kind of flip-flopped backwards. The Hot Brothers were taking on the Usos, and it was a back-and-forth matchup. You know, Mojo was showing his power on the outside. Of course, the super kicks galore happened. We see that Zack Ryder was on the top rope. Jimmy comes Jimmy comes out, or Jay distracts Zack Ryder. Jimmy comes up, knocks him off the top rope, sets him up for the super kick. 1, 2, 3. Usos remain a tag team champion. So another good heel work by the Usos in being the tag team and champions on SmackDown. So decent matchup. So we come to Shinsuke taking on the Singh brothers. This match, Shinsuke single-handedly beat basically both the Singh brothers. There was a point to where Shinsuke allowed Jinder to distract him, and the Singh brothers worked on Shinsuke for a few minutes. But in the end, Shinsuke ended up locking one of the brothers up into a triangle choke. He taps, and as Shinsuke is posing, Jinder hits and attacks Shinsuke from behind, but Shinsuke ends up getting the better and hitting the Kinshasa on Jinder and knocking Jinder completely out. So their feud's not over with yet, folks. So we see Breezango come out there, and they're in the back, and they walk up to Kevin Owens. They're like, "Hey, we'll referee." Kevin Owens like, "No, that ain't happening." So then Baron says, "I'll tell you what, I'll referee, but first shot you give for the U.S. title, I want it." Kevin Owens says, "Fine." So it looks like Baron Corbin will be the guest referee for tonight's main event. We have a tag team women's division match. We have the new WWE Women's SmackDown Champion, Natty, and Miss Money in the Bank, Carmella, taking on Becky Lynch and Naomi. Basically, Carmella kind of left Natty hang out to dry by herself because she refused to tag in to Natty, and Natty had to basically go 2-on-1 against Becky Lynch and Naomi. However, when Natty did take the opportunity to tag Carmella when her back was turned, Natty chased her into the ring. We see Carmella kick at Natty. She gets up. We see Becky Lynch hit the exploder, followed by Naomi hitting a split-legged moonsault off the rope. So Naomi and Becky Lynch win this matchup. So we see friction between Carmella and Naomi, much like we did at the beginning of the match, because Ellsworth's like, "You should be able to trust her." He says she could just simply let you get beat down, and that's basically what happened in this matchup. So good to have Ellsworth talking and doing the talking in your matchup there, Carmella. It gives the ending away to it. So we see Dolph interviewed back. He'd been away and they're repackaging him, and he was like, "Wow, I'm being brought back after a little while, and I'm in the back. No red carpet. Way to go, WWE." And then he starts naming off a ton of gimmicks. I should have a spotlight. Maybe I should sing. Maybe I should rap. Maybe I should play the guitar. And all these things. And so he'll make his re-debut again next week. So it just remains to see what gimmick he's going with in this one. But he sounded really upset of what he wanted it to be, how he wanted to be remembered. Not just what everybody else was doing, the gimmicks that they were having. Because he mentioned, or maybe I should glow. So he was using gimmicks to go off with in conversation that he had with Charlie Crusoe. So then we see Lana and Tamina in the back talking, and she's trying to get Tamina to focus, and she says, "I'll tell you what, I'm going to make sure that you are that I won't stop until you are the most feared woman on the SmackDown Live roster, and that you get that title shot." So we're starting to see Lana plant the seeds of what exactly she wants to do and her purpose for being in Tamina. So she's getting a little bit away from the wrestling, more focused on managing, which is what she's good at. So AJ is coming to the ring. He runs into Baron in the back. He says, "Look, man, I've already told Kevin if he won, he'd give first." AJ says, "I'll tell you what. When I win tonight, I'll issue a U.S. title open challenge every week. All you got to do is answer it." So Baron says, "All right, champ, I'll see you out there." So that remains to be seen on what happens in this match. So then we have the U.S. title match. This is the main event. Kevin Owens taking on the U.S. champion, AJ Styles. Now, this was good back and forth. AJ and KO. It wasn't one of their best matches. It was decent. Not one of their best matches. I usually love their matches. That wasn't too much too high on this matchup. But we see that Baron is showing sides with Kevin more so than AJ, because at one point he shoves AJ, and then we see Kevin Owens get behind him and roll him up and for a quick 2 count. And then Kevin Owens rolls him up again, another quick 2 count. So then Shane gets upset and comes out there because he's like, you're not calling this down the middle. You should be calling this down the middle. So then we see that while Baron is talking to Shane, KO hits a low blow on AJ. And before the Baron can count, Shane drags his legs out from from the pin. So he's like, you hit him between the legs, you can't do that. And Baron takes the referee's shirt off and gives it to Shane. So now Shane is now the referee, which makes Kevin Owens livid. Kevin Owens is upset that Shane McMahon, because this is not what he wanted to happen. So then we see that Kevin Owens gets hit. AJ sets up for the phenomenal forearm. And on the other side of the ring, 1, 2, 3, Kevin Owens loses once yet again to AJ, and he looks angry. AJ Styles wins and retains the WWE U.S. Heavyweight Championship. So we done seen the return of Shelton Benjamin with Chad Gable, and the glorious debut of Bobby Roode. So what a great SmackDown that I thought it was for these happenings. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you do, give it a good thumbs up, upvote this video, follow me, subscribe to me, to my channel, give it a thumbs up, and I appreciate it, and I'll make as much content as I can. So until my next video comes out, this is Bill Mack with Pro Wrestling Unleashed saying, take it easy.